Daybreak. Now we are going to interact with our viewers, which is something that we started due to popular demands. Yes. So today we'll be talking about the vandalism happening on the electricity sector when it comes to power plants being vandalized. That's what we're going to talk about. Now, a strong economy, or rather let's say electricity, is the key component of the national sector, as it is major source of advancements and improvement in people's well-being, as it stimulates development in other sectors of the economy. The actualization of the much needed electricity supply for economic growth in Nigeria is being hampered by many factors. In recent times, one major factor is vandalization of the electricity infrastructure in a number of states. The resultant effect of this act are power outages in many parts of the country. For instance, some residents of the Federal Capital Territory were on Sunday again thrown into darkness as saboteurs vandalized the Shiruru Katempe 330 kV transmission line. I mean, we even brought it up and talked about it on Daybreak yesterday, as it was discovered about 7:40-ish yesterday morning. So according to the transmission company of Nigeria, the vandalism of the transmission line makes it the fifth in just a span of 1 month. I mean, from February of 2024 to March 2024, which we're still in March. We're not even up to the middle of it. So this situation is really bothersome, considering Nigerians have been super worried about the lack of electricity in this heat wave that we are facing and we're going through. So this is going to be the focus of our discussion today. We'll be looking at the vandalization of electric infrastructure and the impact on the Nigerian's economy. So right now we would open, of course, the phone line to hear from you. Later on, we will be joined by an expert in the power sector who will dissect, all of these issues, where we are headed and how to curb this vandalization. But for now, we want to hear from you. So you can go ahead and call us via the number on your TV screen. That way you can share your thoughts on the matter. Vandalization of the power line, transmission line, is something that has really affected everyone, almost everyone, even though we've had people calling from some states yesterday saying, praising their governors for doing their own quota. And I think people from Abia, made mention of the efforts of by their governor, and then saying they have been at least getting a sizable amount of power supply, but then others cannot relate. So please go ahead, call the number on the screen, and let's talk. Let's hear your thoughts on exactly what is happening. These economic saboteurs who are, would rather think about themselves alone and just go sabotaging things that are national asset, and these are things that would definitely affect all Nigerians, but because of one person's selfish interest, these things just get pushed to the side, and then you just go and ruin something that would affect everyone. So let's hear your thoughts on all of this that is happening. What do you think about the vandalization of the electric infrastructure that is happening? I mean, we seem to have a lot, but anyways, soon. Okay, we have a phone call already. Good morning. Good morning. Are you with us? Good morning. Can you please speak up? Okay, I think we lost that caller. Please go ahead, call us. Let's hear your thoughts. We don't know who this, message would get to, and right now there is a there is a need for all of us coming together to make sure that we move past where we are now. Power sector has been a crisis for us for about 10 years plus, a decade, and it's like we take one step forward and we're sliding back 10 steps. So these are things that concern everyone. So what do you think should be done on the infrastructure, considering how easily now people vandalize, and people are doing it constantly now? We are just talking about Abuja, how the Katampe extension there also was touched just in a span of the fifth time for this time of a month. So we need to hear from you. Please go ahead, call the number on your screen. Let's hear from you on this topic today. I mean, it's something that everyone can relate with. What should we do? What should be done? Because it's really not making sense at all. But then, anyways, I think we'll just head on. We have our guest already. He is someone who is familiar deeply with the power sector. And he is Dr. Abubakar Atiku Tambuwal. He is a former managing director of the transmission company of Nigeria, that's the TCN. Also a member of the board of Abuja Electricity Distribution, Director, Data Analytics and Solution Limited, and an associate professor, Department of Electronics and Electrical Engineering in Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Nigeria.
Yes, it's good to have you. So let's, Doctor, let's take a look at, this vandalization happening in general. I mean, the typical example is what happened in the FCT yesterday, which made it the fifth. What is your take on, this situation?
Thank you very much. I think let me first of all start by saying that it's quite unfortunate that Nigeria is in this kind of situation. When you look at worldwide, I don't think there's any country that has taken vandalism of critical infrastructure like Nigeria. It's really too bad because this has really caused a lot of havoc in terms of our development. So that is it. But coming to vandalism targeted to electricity sector, I think this has been a recurring event, just as you said, and it is quite unfortunate that despite the dangers associated with it, people are still engaging in such nefarious activities. Electricity business, as you know, is very, very dangerous, particularly when you want to touch on the power line, which is energized in most cases to 330,000 volts at the highest level. And even if you come to the distribution level, which is 220 volts, as we see, it's enough to electrocute and take away life. So even with these dangers, people still find it easy to go on power line and steal the equipment. So I think apart from the dangers itself, what are the gains? What are the reasons why this vandalism is taking place? Well, some people will argue that it is due to economic reason, which probably I will agree, because of the benefits that these people take. For example, if they take an upriser cable, which is very common from a distribution transformer, they easily get it recycled into the market and get peanut for it, while subjecting the community into hardship. Some people, and sometimes even it's laughable, the kind of thing that they take these things. For example, aluminum conductors, they are being taken and taken to smelter or these local blacksmiths to produce cooking pots. You can see how bad it is. And on the other side, some people argue it is a sabotage. I will agree, yeah, some aspect of sabotage is involved too, particularly when you look at the higher level at transmission side. You bring down a whole 330 or 132 kV tower. For what reason? So I can agree that this is an economic sabotage.
All right,
So
Doctor, let's talk
government
about,
and people,
the impacts
yeah.
of all of this. I mean, you've been in the power sector for a long time. This is, you have a well-equipped knowledge of how these things tend to impact the society, the economy. So what does this mean? If in a span of 1 month, we're already having this, how can this affect our economy if it should continue, like this?
Of course, it's going to have a tremendous effect on the economy. When, for example, a whole 330 kV line is shut down, it impacted a lot on the economy in terms of the electricity that is delivered, both in terms of cost to the distribution companies or to the system, the manufacturers, industrialists, and everybody is also losing. A lot of money is being lost due to the loss of this power supply. So I can say it is a serious and negative and has devastating impact on the economy to have such a power line brought down either by bandits, vandals, or willful destruction due to sabotage.
Also, can you quantify the estimated, financial losses incurred? Because we are at a time where the Federation Treasury is always being said it's a bit empty right now, and then we're having infrastructures, getting ruined almost on a monthly or weekly basis, or even a daily basis. So, what is the financial implication, for the nation of all of this?
Well, conservatively, when you look at the quantum of power that is being denied or that is to be sold on the distribution, on the power sector side, is we are losing billions. For example, a 1 megawatt lost will tantamount to over R1 billion loss in terms of revenue for the power sector. But that is not enough. When you look at the other aspects of the economy, the manufacturing side is there, the commercial activities, it is quite a lot of money. It's an underestimation to say that R1 trillion is being lost as a result of this singular act of vandalism for a single 330 transmission tower.
We know that, now you're not with the TCN, but then you are someone, an expert who they would definitely call on in case of any kind of advice, and you also have your ears to the ground. So is there any, plans put in place in order to curb this from happening? I mean, from having any reoccurrence of this situation, because it keeps taking us back.
Yeah, it's quite surprising to say that this is being allowed to happen more often within a short time frame. I believe not only TCN, but all other power sector operators must have plan of getting rid of this menace. What I mean is this critical infrastructure has to be safeguarded. We have community and security apparatus that we need to engage to make sure that these towers or equipment are being protected, guarded 24 hours. Again, the companies or the entities involved has to also look at technology. We're in the world of technology now. So there should be ways and means of monitoring this critical infrastructure and then coming up with mitigating actions that need to be taken when any part of this infrastructure is being threatened. I will think that TCN, if it has not done so, should be able to look at this holistically and provide budgetary provision, because all these things cannot be done for free. Even if you are going to engage the local vigilante and set and people around this infrastructure and the security agents, you need to spend money. So that has to be provided if it is not being provided in the budgetary provision, to ensure that this is properly looked into, and also to invest, like I said earlier, in technology, so that this infrastructure will be monitored 24 hours. There should be closed circuit televisions, cameras, that should be used. We have drones nowadays that can also do such activities. So this must be looked into, and proper coordination done by TCN and relevant utilities. The distribution companies, they also have their own substations, which are constantly, in fact, on a daily basis, being vandalized in one way or the other. So I think that has to be properly taken care of by the stakeholders.
Doctor, let's be honest. The TCN, right from day one, the power sector in general is something that the government has proven that they cannot, handle alone. And that was why there was division and privatization of some parts of it. So the TCN already has its own issues. We've had you on this show, about it several times, and we spoke about this issues happening. So if at all the other main issues that has been going on has not been addressed, what is the certainty that there is that will for the necessary stakeholders involved in all of this would put in this effort and take in this advice that you just gave about technology?
Well, like I said, when you look at expansion of the system, it's a thing that has to be planned and done systematically. But when you come to the aspect of vandalism, this is something that is not planned, something that can come at any time. So TCN or any other stakeholder in this business has to ensure that it takes necessary steps and action to take care of this eventuality. So like I was saying, not much has been done. I know when I was there as acting MD in TCN, we had plans to install these cameras and ensure that we have continuous monitoring. I know it involves funding, but nowadays, the points that the TCN gets from internally generated source, which is wheeling charges, should be used to ensure that this equipment is being procured. Because if you don't safeguard these lines, when they are down, you are getting zero funding, you are getting nothing in revenue from it. So it is better to invest part of that money into providing the necessary technology, necessary infrastructure to safeguard your infrastructure, the lines and the substations. So that is my take on it. This is an issue which has to be seriously looked into in order to address these unfortunate incidences.
Indeed. Earlier you made mention of the complication and the risk that even comes with working in the power sector. We've seen a lot of people getting shocked, from the radiation from the power. But then even at that, people are still risking it to do this. So what are the roles that you think the government should do in order to create public awareness when it comes to this, because even the people vandalizing it are putting themselves at risk, and even people around them, because anything can happen.
Yeah, I think one thing that needs to be done, not only on the part of the government, but on the part of each and every one of us as citizens of this country, is to sensitize and let people know of the dangers first of this kind of activity. And also to let them know that apart from the danger to themselves, the kind of havoc that it brings to the Nigerian economy for their own selfish interest. So these are some of the things which we need to take seriously in terms of mass mobilization and letting people know the dangers, both in terms of safety and the damage to the economy of the country. So it is a collective responsibility for me, you, and everybody to ensure that people are being sensitized. Some of those banders probably are not aware of the dangers involved and the kind of problem that it can cause to them. Because by vandalizing a transmission line or power system, denying electricity, hospitals are there, people are lying on their sick bed, and all this can affect them negatively. So I think even on this ground, we need to let people know the ills attached to this kind of activities. And I believe we should be able to do that collectively.
Indeed. I mean, collectively, we'd have to go back to the drawing board and put everything in place. All right, Doctor, I want to hear your take on this. I mean, we've seen how, the administration now is pushing rather for CNG in order to replace our over dependent on the use of petrol. So when it comes to the power sector, the energy now, is there any alternative energy source as potential long-term solution or source, that could actually help us in even reducing our over-reliance on this vulnerable national grid?
Of course, there are 1,001 ways of complementing the electricity demand, which presently the national grid cannot meet. And one of those is what is actually gaining ground. And I'm happy to say that people are now aware that they can energize their houses using solar energy. So with some little capital, you should be able to have a solar home system. You should be able to power your needs by having a rooftop solar panels on your buildings. That will go a long way in reducing the pressure on the grid,
Doctor,
and also making sure that
I would
you have
just interject a bit. Let's just take a pause.
an
We'll come back to that.
alternative
We have a
source.
caller, and I want to hear what the people are saying. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. All right, I think we lost that call. Apologies, Doctor. Please, let's get back to, the other energy, alternative that we could use, energy source, in order to avoid our over-reliance when it comes to the national grid.
Yes, like I was saying, solar energy is one solution which has really gained a lot of acceptability in spite of the cost involved. But when you look at the investment you are going to make personally to get your house electrified using solar energy, is much, much cheaper in the long run than using standby generators. Apart from the dangers involved and risks, solar energy is entirely safe and can be deployed anywhere in the rural areas, in the urban areas. You can have this solar home system and should be able to give you complementary solution or power in the absence of the national grid. These are one of the easiest, but other things which involve upgrade, mini grid, those ones are beyond personal or individual. but a lot of entities are willing to provide, just as provided by the new Electricity Act. I think state government has taken it upon themselves to engage these investors so that they can have a cluster of customers to be powered using off-grid solar or even wind. Many hydros are there. They are all options, which I believe we will be able to embrace.
Indeed, we hope that, of course, we will be able to get some of this thing, done, so that way we can at least do not rely on one aspect of, this national grid issue and the vandalism. But then one of the things you made mention of is the solar, which you pointed out that people should do individually. So why can't the government, knowing that this solar would be better, not just move from the national grid and then said, okay, we would rather use solar for the nation? Why should an individual do it? It's like it now becomes, when it comes to the water supply, already majority of people, even in the capital, the nation's capital, Abuja, are already, they all have boreholes. So it's like people are doing the government's job already. So why should the people now go and get, that the light on their own? It's like helping the government do a lot of things while the government is not really doing enough on the basic amenities. Doctor, are you with us? All right, I think we lost Dr. Tambuwal on that one. Okay, Doctor, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if you got my question
I've
earlier.
got you. What you are saying is the government should rather take up the responsibility of providing these alternative sources. I entirely agree with you, and government is doing quite a lot there. When you look at hydros, there are also alternatives, renewable. Government is very much concerned about the Mambila hydro. And I just heard about the recent development that government has.
Okay, I just hope Doctor would come back due to the network, but we have a caller there. Good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Calling from Makurdi, Benue State.
It's good to have you from Makurdi. Go ahead with your thoughts on the vandalism happening.
Yes, you are doing a very good work.
Thank you.
God bless you. And this is your prayer in this Ramadan. God will accept
now.
Amen. Amen.
This vandalism of this electricity is because there is no punishment. If they catch them, they will not punish them. That is why people, they trade on it. Those that didn't know anything concerning life cannot go there. So it is those that are there, that they know in and out what to take, when to take it, that they go there and vandalize it, not minding what others suffer. And Nigeria now, they are the problem to themselves. We create the problem and we will be crying. That is the government is trying. They are sabotaging government. Government will go to other places to bring the investors. Investors, when they see the way we are behaving, they cannot take us serious. They will not come.
Indeed.
Unless if government takes it upon itself, anybody catch, they will punish the person. The others will learn.
True. Well, thank you.
Thank you. That is my contribution.
Thank you so much for calling in to share your thoughts on all of this, which is something I think we spoke about yesterday, saying that the TCN, even the discourse have made plans saying, okay, we have been investigating, but then we have not seen any outcome, out of that investigation. People keep getting away with, sabotaging a national, infrastructure, and nobody is being held accountable. So definitely it is going to continue. People are going to see it as an easy way out, to get their own selfish interest, done, which is a really sad situation. Okay, so we have Dr. Tambuwal back. Thank you, Doctor, for staying with us. Now, quickly, what would be your, roundup remark to the government in order to help curtail this and make sure it stops? Because Nigerians are already tired and are getting really frustrated due to the, epileptic and even non-existence of power supply in some areas.
Yeah, I think government need to really be very much alive to its responsibilities. I know sometimes back, Office of the National Security Advisor has been championing this initiative to really see how we can safeguard critical national infrastructure like power lines. So I think this should be given due attention. That office should also be able to coordinate and make sure that it has supported the transmission company, distribution companies to ensure that proper funding, particularly, is being provided for safeguarding this infrastructure. So I think, like I said earlier too, that it should the regulatory should make it also mandatory that these entities, discourse, GenCos, TCN, should have part of their funding dedicated for to tackle the issue of vandalism. So if that is being done and there's proper coordination from the center, right from the office of NSA, I think we should be able to address this situation squarely.
Indeed, we hope so. We hope to get the positive out of this. Thank you so much, Dr. Abubakar Atiku Tambuwal, former managing director at Transmission Company of Nigeria, for joining us to dissect this, issue affecting us. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks.
All right, I think we seemed to have a lot of callers calling in. I don't know if there would be time to take a call, based on exactly what is happening. I mean, a previous caller made mention of the worries, of this continuing if the government don't hold people accountable, and it is really disturbing. So it's really a sad situation there, and we keep going back and forth. The span of a month for this to happen, it's alarming, and in the FCT, so it means something is wrong with the security, issue happening. I remember a video that trended on social media of, a whole transformer, spiking due to light epileptic, situation in Calabar, the Cross River, and then it caused the death of 2 people because they did not know the basics of when electricity spark. You're not supposed to raise your leg off the floor. You rather drag it on the floor. I think the experts even explain it more better. And then these people were just convulsing, and it was really a really scary thing. Nobody could help them. So with all of these things happening, now we're having people now to sabotage this thing, and it's making it even more difficult, which is really a sad situation. But anyways, due to time, of course, we have to put a stop, to this segment of the show. Thank you so much for, all of you that called in to share your own thoughts on what could be done in order to avoid the vandalization of future vandalism of the infrastructure when it comes to the power grid. And for those of you who tried calling and were not able to pick due to network and all, we do appreciate you sticking with us. So we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, of course, the show continues. So stay with us.